In the past few months, I have sold more offers in a short space of time than I have probably ever sold before. On the surface, it might look and sound exhausting to be launching so many things back to back, but at this time in my business, I have also found the greatest level of ease with the way that I launch that I have ever had. So in this episode, I am going to share 5 things that have worked for me to make this easy. Welcome to the Soulful Sales Show, where we talk about believing in the value of your offers, getting them in front of your right people, and selling more of what you do in your unique way. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Soulful Sales Show. So I have been putting together a new training. It's called Laid Back Launching. It's happening very, very soon, tomorrow, if you are listening to this episode on the day of release. And what I have realized is that I seem to be in my selling lots of things era right now, my launching back-to-back era right now. And I know that when I talk about launching back-to-back, that is probably going to bring up mixed feelings for a lot of you. Some of you will shudder at the thought of it, and some of you will be like, I wonder how she's doing it. So in this episode, I thought I would share how I'm doing it, because although I've been launching back-to-back, although I've been selling lots of different things, and I counted, and there have been 8 things in the last 3 months, which kind of seems wild, although I will share them with you and you'll see it's probably not as wild as it sounds. Even though I've been selling all that stuff, it has not been really intense. In fact, only a couple of those things have involved me, showing up on live calls or anything like that. Most of the time, it has been super, super laid back. Hence, the training I'm doing on Laid Back launches on March 20th. By the way, I really recommend you go and check that out now. If you are listening to this on the day of release, then you can get that training for $49. And I'm afraid if you're not listening to this on day of release, it is never going to be that price again. But you will be able to still get in at a lower price if you become a member of the Soulful Sales Society. It's not open right now, but it will open up a couple of times throughout the year. But if you are listening to this before the training has happened, today, March 19th, today as in the day this episode is released, is the last day of the pre-sale. So go to ruthpoundwhite.com/laidback-launching to find out more about that training and to get on the pre-sale while the price is the lowest that it's ever going to be. Okay, so let's get into how I have been, what has enabled me to be launching back to back and how that has not totally burned me out and actually has been quite fun and easy. And let me just give a really super quick rundown of the things that I've launched since December, so the last 3 months. I launched a new offer, which was my Soulful Growth Club. It's a $7 mini membership. I pre-launched that before it was live. In December. Then I did a last ever annual discounted sale on my main membership, the Soulful Sales Society, right at the end of the year and start of January. Then after that, I did a kind of live round Get It Done week of my course Aligned Offers. Then I also had a kind of back-end offer. It's an upgrade offer for my members in the Soulful Growth Club and the Soulful Sales Society to get some Voxer office hours with me. So that wasn't a public launch. It was kind of a back-end upgrade offer. I also did a flash sale on my journaling course for Valentine's Day because it's all about self-love. Then a couple of weeks ago, I did a paid challenge bootcamp. It was $10 to create your strategic freebie over the course of a week. You can still buy that, by the way. It's just not happening live anymore, obviously. You can still buy that on my website or join the Soulful Growth Club for $7 and you get that included. That's soulfulgrowthclub.com. So yeah, some of these offers are linked. Then I did a flash sale on my Grow with Challenges course because I figured I've just done a paid bootcamp. Why not sell the offer that teaches people how I do this, even though it's often a free challenge? Paid bootcamp, very similar process. And then finally, we're on to the final of all of the 8 things that I've launched in the last 3 months. And that is the Laid Back Launching training, which is happening at the time of release, is happening tomorrow. So although there's 8 things on that list, only 2 of them were new. No, 3 of them were new. but two of them were actually part of offers that I'm already selling. So I did have the new mini membership for $7. The freebie boot camp was content I wanted to create for the mini membership anyway. So I invited anyone to join in with that for $10 or join the membership for $7. So that was related to the mini membership. And then the laid back launching training I'm doing is based on content I've already created and I'm expanding on from the Soulful Sales Society. So it sounds like loads of stuff, but mainly I was either relaunching past offers or I am creating new things that are, or semi-new things that are actually part of my memberships anyway. So nothing huge in the way of new stuff, more just like back-to-back launching existing stuff or things that I had planned for the memberships anyway. So that is what I launched. I know, it's a lot. And I just want to say before I dive in, like, this is obviously not the way everyone needs to run their business. It's not even the way I run my business a lot of the time. I just, so like I said, I seem to be in my era of launching things back to back right now. And it's probably because, you know, I used to have a higher ticket group program. I used to be very much focused on fewer offers. And I've really shifted gear in working with fewer one-to-one clients and fewer high ticket clients. So it kind of made me think, right, I've got to get creative and replace this income. So I've just been relaunching my, you know, courses and stuff like that. So it's not a forever thing for me, but it is a season that I'm in my business. So by all means, like, it is not the absolute way that you should be running your business. And clearly I've got a lot of courses and stuff that I've created over many years. So I'm at a stage in my business now where I get to relaunch them and relaunch them and relaunch them. So yeah, that's just my little caveat before I dive in. But even if you don't have this kind of business model, if you don't have loads of offers, I think that what I'm going to share, well, I know that what I'm going to share will still be really, really helpful in the way that you approach launches, with the mindset of them being easy, the mindset that actually they don't take loads from you, and therefore you can launch back to back, or you can launch in a way that leaves you time to go and live your life and do other things or whatever you want to do. Okay, so here are the 5 things, the 5 keys to making this possible for me, to making this as easy as possible and doable and not taking over my life by launching so many things back to back. The first thing is I relaunched old offers. Relaunch old offers that I have launched many times before. And probably at the beginning of 2023 is when I made a commitment to myself to get serious about relaunching my older offers, because I knew, like, I had been releasing new things and doing new trainings, doing new courses, or like focusing on my group program. I knew I had all these untapped kind of assets in my business from creating these courses and programs and leaving them on my website for people to buy at any time, but never really doing an intentional push and like giving people a reason to sign up now. And the thing is, like, with creating stuff that you leave on your website for people to buy at any time, is that they don't buy it that often. Like, obviously it does happen and I do get random sales, but generally if you've got stuff that's available all the time, it still helps to give them a nudge, whether that's like back-end evergreen stuff set up, and or to relaunch your offers and give them a reason to join, whether that's doing like a live round, adding a bonus, price rise, whatever. So I made this commitment at the start of 2023 that I was going to relaunch my older offers and really make the most of these assets that I had already created in my business. That is what has made it possible for me to sell so many offers back to back, is because I'm not creating them all from scratch. I'm not even running them live. And that is really key for me as well. I think in the past, when I was relaunching my older offers, it's been like a core belief of mine that I've been aware of for a very long time. Like, I have to work hard to earn money. I have to work hard. I have to put in loads of effort. It can't just be easy. And that's something I've been really working on rewiring in myself and letting it be easy. And I don't have to deliver these programs live. I don't have to add any kind of live element if I don't want to. Some of these things that I sold, I did do like a get it done week, which means like challenging people to get it done in the week. And then if they did, I would share their offer, for example, with my audience. But some of them, I just relaunched them. And that was that. Like, there was a discount for the launch period. So there was a reason for people to sign up then. But yeah, no need to make them more complicated. So relaunching my old offers has really been, key. Like, I don't have to create the offers. That's going to make a huge difference to how much I am actually able to put them out there. The second point is that I trusted that there were still people in my audience who wanted them. So this really follows on from the first point, but I think that we can create stories in our heads, like when it comes to relaunching stuff. We can think, well, I only launched this 6 months ago or even a year ago. Like, if people are going to buy it, they would have bought it already. Like, there's no one else in my audience who's interested in that. Like, have you ever had a story like that when you've thought about relaunching something? Because the truth is, if you've been growing your audience since you first launched it, then firstly, you've got new people in your audience anyway who never saw it the first time around. But secondly, there are people who did see it the first time around. There are people who it wasn't right for then, or who didn't sign up for whatever reason, and who will be interested once you actually draw their attention to it. Like, maybe it has been available in your website the whole time, but how many of our audience are actually browsing our website and checking all the offers we have? Sometimes we need to put it right in front of them by launching it, by sending emails, right? And then it might be the right time for them. I know that I personally have seen offers for sale and for whatever reason didn't sign up, and then they were relaunched, and then I realized that was the right time and I signed up for them. So yeah, I trusted that there were still lots of people in my audience who wanted them. And when I say I trusted, I did question it. And when I questioned it, what I did was I actually checked the numbers. I went into my ConvertKit account. I checked the people's tags. So for example, my Grow with Challenges course, that's a course that I have launched many times before. And a lot of people in my audience already have that course. So I checked how many people already have it versus how many people are in my audience. And there's still a huge, far outweighs the number of people that have it, the people who don't. But my brain is telling me, no, I've done this one to death. No one else is going to buy. It is just not true. Looking at the numbers is really, really helpful. Also, especially if you know that you have grown your audience and there are some people seeing it fresh. But even if you haven't, there's still going to be a chunk of your audience who do not have the offer yet. And guess what? New people bought it. Every time new people buy it. Okay, point number 3. I repurposed old content. And again, this is really linked to point number 1 about relaunching old offers. Because I have launched these offers before, I have so much content that I can repurpose and reuse from past launches. Now, obviously, if you're launching something new, you might not have all of the launch content that you had used when you initially launched it, because you haven't launched it yet. But you might still have other content that you can repurpose. This was definitely the case when I launched my new membership, well, new at the time, the Soulful Growth Club. I went back into my content archives and I found emails, I found social media posts, I found things about being visible and, being visible as myself or someone with like low energy or introvert, neurodivergent, all of that stuff. And I repurposed that for my launch. I also have a system, a very rudimentary system for keeping track of, the older content, so that I can draw on it when I need it. And if it is something I have launched before, sometimes, especially in the last few months, because my energy and capacity has been a lot lower in the last few months. Sometimes I've done an entire launch where not one single piece of content is new. Not one single piece. And I know that people have feelings about this as well. Like, won't your audience notice? Won't they get fed up if you send the same thing? And you know what? Maybe there are some people in my audience who notice, but these launches are spread out. People are never paying attention to 100% of things that we send. They will forget, even if they have seen it before, and a lot of people have not seen it before. A lot of people need to hear the messages again anyway. So, repurposing content absolutely has made it so much easier for me, so much easier. I have given myself permission to use the exact same emails. Most of the time, I don't actually use the exact same emails. Like, I will tweak them. Usually having that distance from when I initially published it to when I go to repurpose it gives me a bit of perspective. It helps me to see where I get to upgrade it, where I get to tighten the messaging, where I get to shorten a really long email, because I tend to be a bit wordy sometimes. So I do change it often, but sometimes I do just give myself permission. You know what? I'm tired, I'm low on energy, but I want to do this flash sale. I'm just going to send the emails as is, exactly how I sent them before. And I will say, this is a kind of sub point about how I use the content. I will also say, if you have any fears about like launching back to back, burning out your audience, constantly selling, annoying them, all of that stuff, the way that I do content for my launches is never just sell, 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 sell. It's never that. unless it's a really short kind of flash sale, it's never purely sales content. It's here's my offer, here's the deal, here's why you want to buy it. Then it's here's something helpful about this topic, here's something inspiring about this topic, here's something actionable about this topic, and then here's your last chance reminder for the offer. So it's not completely different to just my regular kind of nurturing content. So that is my kind of extra point about the content. It's not just sell, sell, sell. And by the way, I'm going into the content strategy for the laid back launching, the way that I've been doing it, in my laid back launching training at ruthpoundwhite.com/laidback-launching. So I'm going into all of that there. I'm going into the repurposing. I'm going into, what to create if you're creating it from scratch. And I'm especially going into how to make sure it's not just purely selling. You don't burn yourself and your audience out, and you are giving value, and you feel very confident that you're giving value as well. Okay, so point number 4 of how I have been managing to launch back-to-back in the way that I have lately is I have a big list of ideas. Like every few months, I'll do some brainstorming. Here are all the different things I could sell, all the ways I could sell it. It's not necessarily all different offers. It could be like a different packaging of a certain offer, or, like the member upgrade offer that I mentioned when I was reading out my list of offers. Like that was just an add-on to the membership, adding some Voxer office hours for a few months, really, really simple offer to put out there. Pretty simple to deliver. I just have to set aside certain dates in my diary. And it's a really easy thing for me to put out there and sell. And for me to connect with my members more as well. So I have a really big long list of ideas. I have tried to be the business owner that will plan things month in advance and stick to my plan. I am not that business owner. I'm just not that human. Now, if I have a really big project like a summit, obviously that is something that will be in the diary and I will stick to that and I will work towards a plan. Mostly though, the way it works is I have somewhat of a plan in the form of my big list of ideas, and then I will intuitively, like semi-strategically, semi-intuitively draw from that list on a more kind of short-term planning basis, if that makes sense. And again, I am going to share my kind of rhythm for how I choose to do, like when to launch, when to stretch in my launch, when to be more visible, and when to lean back. With the way I launch and the type of offers I launch. I'm going to talk about that in the laid back launching training. But yeah, basically always having this overall bank of ideas. The big projects are planned in, in a proper way. The in-between kind of laid back launches are more like, that's the one I feel like doing right now. Or that's the one that would make sense with, my goal for getting 1,000 members in my membership. Just throwing out that goal. That is a goal I'm currently working towards. It's not happening right now, but it is like helping to inform my decisions at the moment, having that kind of overarching goal. So yeah, having my big long list of ideas and picking from it semi-strategically, semi-intuitively. And then the final point I want to say about what has made it possible for me to be selling and launching back to back is doing it imperfectly. And I say this with everything I do. If you've ever done one of my programs, I say this in absolutely all of my programs, and I won't apologize for repeating myself because it's what enables me to build such momentum in my business. I'm doing it imperfectly, and I know that this isn't going to be the only launch I do. So this is especially helpful when I'm doing a laid back launch of a new thing. So when I put out my $7 membership, the Soulful Growth Club, I did it in a really laid back way. I just, sent a few emails. Like I said, most of them repurposed from older content. I put together a fast action bonus. I wasn't even closing the doors for that one. That one's always open. And I knew, it's okay to do this in a laid back way where my brain will tell me, you need to figure this out, you need to figure that out, you need to get this just right, you need to add on all the bells and whistles, you need to do a masterclass, you need to do a challenge. No. Firstly, it was a $7 offer, so I really don't want to do all that stuff for a $7 offer. But secondly, it was just around Christmas time. My whole family had all the illnesses back then. It was a very stressful December. And I did what was within my capacity. I did what served me better. And I trusted that, I get to launch this properly in future. This isn't the one launch I'm ever going to do for this program. None of my offers actually rely on any one launch. And sometimes allowing yourself to do a really imperfect and really laid back launch is the way to get yourself moving. I know from talking to a lot of clients, there are some people who will be working on an offer behind the scenes, working on a course behind the scenes, getting it all ready, getting it all perfect, and delaying, actually launching and getting that course out there. What serves me well is to get it out there imperfectly, to start making the money, to have this like external accountability to creating it. I'm very motivated by deadlines. And to learn from the process, because in the process of actually getting it out there imperfectly, I learn so much more than just thinking about it and my brain trying to get it perfect beforehand. So yeah, doing it imperfectly. I mean, the same goes for relaunching stuff as well. I already shared that when I relaunch and repurpose, I will go back and I will make improvements when it comes time to relaunch. And this is how I layer on the improvements over time. I don't do it all at once. I can never get it perfect all at once. I don't even have the data. I don't have the information of how it went until it's done. And then I get to learn from that, and then I get to improve. So yeah, these are the 5 things that have really helped me to launch back to back for the last 3 months, not get burned out, actually support me when I have been a bit burned out in other ways in life, and allow me to keep up the sales momentum, keep serving my people, keep putting eyes on older offers, and keep making that money in my business. So yeah, relaunching my old offers, trusting that there are still people in my audience who want those old offers and who will buy those old offers, repurposing all the way for my content, having that big list of ideas and choosing from that semi-intuitively. And that really helps with the kind of energy management as well when you've got unpredictable energy. And then knowing that no one launch is ever, like my business is never riding on any one launch. I will always get chances to improve and relaunch in future. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. I'm going to go into obviously a lot more detail on a lot of these points in my laid back launching training. So come get it if you're in time for the pre-launch bonus. Come get it. ruthpoundwhite.com. No, it wasn't a pre-launch bonus, pre-launch discount. ruthpoundwhite.com/laidback-launching. If you've missed the pre-launch deadline, which is March the 19th, be on the lookout, like go to the page and be on the lookout for Soulful Sales Society opening again, because you will be able to get in on it that way instead. Okay, thank you for being here, and I hope that was helpful. Like I said, you're not necessarily going to be launching in the way that I have. I mean, it's a lot even for me, but it hasn't felt a lot, and that's the point. And I feel like I've been really perfecting this way of showing up and selling, and it's really, really helpful when you have unpredictable energy, especially. Okay, so yeah, see if you can allow things to be easy. See if you can repurpose your content and try your own laid back launch. See how it goes for you. See how it changes the way you feel about launching, because it definitely has changed the way I feel about launching. And yeah, get out there and tell people about your offers. Make it really obvious that they are available, and it will make a big difference to your business, I promise. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Soulful Sales. If you have a moment to rate and review, know that it really does make a difference. And if you'd like to carry on the conversation, then you can connect with me on Instagram at Ruth Poundwhite, sign up to my newsletter at ruthpoundwhite.com/newsletter, or my personal favorite, join me inside the low ticket membership at ruthpoundwhite.com/membership. And keep doing what you're doing, because your work really does matter.